Well, back at it today. Hopefully today will be a smoother day with no tractor breakdowns. Yesterday was two. Snapped that line off while I was burying that rock the size of a Volkswagen. And then just one of the lines came uncoupled and just disabled the tractor. So hopefully today will go smooth. Chris Super Troop is coming out, so that'll be great to have an extra hand. It'll help some of the on and off the tractor all the time. Like every time I want to move a rock or branch or something like that, I don't have to like get it in neutral and the whole shifter issue and locking the brake, hopping off, hopping on, all that jazz. So that'll probably speed up things a good amount. But this is where we're going to work today, is finish up. I want to get this whole area leveled. If I can get this area leveled today, that would be incredibly sad. So this would be the main area that we'll be working, is the fence area that goes into the way further backyard. And that's where I buried the rock the size of a Volkswagen over here. Still at the one that's the size of a Cadillac sticking up, so I can chip the top of that off later with the jackhammer. But I want to get that carved down, this leveled up, that shaved down, and just kind of get things leveled up. This is a big debris pile of branches and roots and vines and all that stuff I just shoved over there. And we will slowly stop burning that stuff. Honestly, it'll probably be next year at this point, because I only got about a week left of burn season this year. But yeah, so that's where that big boulder came out that's over there. That was the max on Mr. Ferguson yesterday. Pulled out some of the thorn bushes. Still got to rake and get some of those roots out of there. And property line goes back behind here. There's a bunch of fence panelings that are laying back here. I figure there's a ton of them. Why not line them up along the back here eventually and just kind of perimeter the yard. My yard goes way over, probably to about that boulder way back there, but this is kind of where the last owner probably wanted to maintain to, because he had animals, and this is a steep drop off, so I think that's probably why he kind of put a little wire fence here, just because it was easier and easier to watch from the house too. But this area over here is kind of cool. This has a bunch of boulders coming through the surface here, and here, and there's a big drop off. And I'm from Quincy, and we spent a lot of time up the Quincy quarries when I was younger, so having an area with a bunch of rocks and drop offs is pretty cool. So this is a pretty inviting area, all boulders coming down here. And my property goes way down. You can see a stick that's sideways there. It goes down somewhere around there. And then if you look over here, you can see the size of that brush pile I made. And that's got some of the downed rotted trees in the bottom, and then all the brush piled up there. So that'll be a lot of burning next year, hopefully. I'll probably dedicate, next year once the house is done, I'll probably dedicate all of burn season to just hanging out and burning. But yeah, that's a huge area I want to get shaved down. All this I want to get shaved down in here. And yeah. And if we have time, I was going to bury those trees. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, and try and replant them. But as you can see, I was going to put them around the perimeter. I got trees around my whole property here. So I don't know if I need a couple more. And if we do wrap up early enough, I'll probably try and grab a bunch of these thorn bushes and rip some of those out. And if you remember yesterday, I mentioned I didn't want to go after these rocks because I'll lose a huge area. For reference, I went for that rock over there. So this disturbance goes out around to here, to there. And that rock was about right here. So that's how much area you end up disturbing. So I'm not going to do this. I'm going to work around that, at least for this year. And then up front at the house, and a handful of things I want to get moved to kind of wrap these up. So we'll see what time we have today and how smooth things go. Lord willing, no tractor breakdowns and stuff like that. But I got a bunch of stuff up here to move. Onto that's a bunch of the spare roof rafters I was going to use to temporarily brace up the garage. So I'll probably throw those out back for now. There's some extra Galvy roof panels. I'll probably stack those in that shed. There's some conveyor rollers over there. I'll probably just put those over in the metal pile over there. The metal I dug up the other day here, I'll put those in the metal pile over there. That wood pile I want to get moved and thrown out back. And that rubber roofing, that's all going to get folded up. And the window that I forgot to throw in the dumpster before it left, I got to get that moved because this is the area where I started clearing the other day. So, long intro out of the way. Thanks for bearing with it. Let me get Mr. Ferguson out. Chris should be here shortly, and we'll just kind of get going. See how it goes. Well, let's do a little check-in. Sean just left. Chris is still here sticking it out. Not a super satisfying production day, but this stuff is tedious and kind of is what it is. But it's friend hangout time, so it's all good. But I was hoping to get this area over here a little lower. Yeah, I wanted to get that area where the tractor is a little lower, but there's two massive rocks that I can't get to move. So now that's going to be the new levelness. So I got to bring this all up here in the middle and take some of this, drag some of this back, level up some of this in the front, push the rest around that side. And then we got a nice rock in the middle of that, a big, we'll call it the Rock of Gibraltar. But I have an idea for that rock. That one's definitely not moving, but I have something fun for it. If I can get it totally dug out today, I'll stage it the way I want to stage it, kind of, sort of. But we're working on it. We got some more vines, another tree down here, and you can see more of the river back there. So it's getting better, slowly but surely. Making progress. That's all pretty level back there now. And I still got to shave this down here from here forward, reveal that rock. See, that's at an angle. Got a cool idea for that. But that's decent. Like, I don't mind a little like sloping. Before it was all ruts and ups and downs and rocks and stumps and branches and weeds and vines and thorns and everything else, oh my. So there was a big low spot here, we put some there, big low spot there, we put a bunch up there. So now I'm going to start working on dragging some out here more, and then drag the rest back this way and get this kind of leveled down. So we'll keep going. And Chris is still here. He's probably only here for another half hour, 45 minutes or so, and he's got to hit the road. But we did find our first bones on the in the yard. We'll say. Not quite sure what it was from, but there it is. It's a farm. I'm sure there's buried animals back here. It is what it is. Well, let's wrap this up. I want to get as much spread tonight as we can. Well, that was a reasonably satisfying day. The tractor isn't the best machine to be grading and leveling and all that stuff with roots and rocks and all that stuff. Excavator would probably be best with the blade on the front of it. So like you can be in it, blade, if you gotta move a rock, you can scoop the rock, throw it to the side, blade some more, and just keep going around in circles and just leveling it. Where this, like you realistically, you can only back drag. If you go forward, it hooks in and digs in and like keeps making divots. So back dragging is the best way because it makes it drag smoother, because it's pulling all the equipment. It's taking all the slop out of everything and pulling it outwards rather than taking it all and lifting the suspension. It's just way better. So it's not the best thing for it, but we got a lot done. Still needs more to do, but this is a good visual at the moment. And this is to the point now where if I wanted to, I could let this thing dry out for like a week and just let that dirt get a little dusty, because it's like clay right now almost. It's soupy. Tractor keeps bogging down in it where I'm putting it thick and all that stuff. It is the word, moist. Sorry. But we got a lot down, and I tried moving some of the rocks. Some of them wouldn't move, and sometimes you got to take an inconvenience that's a negative and turn it into a positive. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I wanted this all nice and leveled, but in the middle there is a rock there. That is the Rock of Gibraltar for sure. That thing's probably the size of a school bus if you were to start digging it out. It is massive, but it's set up in just the way where I'm a guy, I was a kid, and I was always on BMX bikes. We had a mini bike for like a day, but we were always on BMX bikes for the most part, and we always wanted to jump everything we could. So with that said, this huge rock is perfectly positioned. Check that out. It's the perfect ramp. And you remember the mini bike that we dug out of the ground? How's that for a perfect setup? That thing's just launching off. But we got it all reasonably level to like a slope coming down this side, because I'd need 3 times as much dirt to fill up this side as high as that. But that's all boulders back there and whatnot. So we filled in some low spots here and there. All of this is going to settle. It's going to compact. It's going to rinse away with the rain. It is going to adjust and slide and move around. It is going to do what nature does. And there'll be a lot of leveling and everything else later on. But I tell you, this is satisfying. Back there at the corner, there was a huge low spot, all thorn bushes around. So we got those all ripped out, cut back, and filled in that low spot. And Riley was always sniffing back there, and sure enough, in that low-lying area behind the bushes, there was a bunch of coyote poop. So that's probably where they were hiding. And part of this clearing is making it less inviting for those type of animals to be on the property. I still want rabbits and birds and hawks and all that type of stuff, but I don't want mice. I don't want coyotes, and I'd rather not have bobcats, as cool looking as they are. They can kind of be jerks. But I think this is pretty satisfying. Even just right now, I can see way more of the river back. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but with this huge mound gone, that huge mound gone, you can see the river coming right through. And then it widens all up in here. So different areas, it looks way better. But this is pretty satisfying overall. And I'll probably take the loom rake once this dries some and shuffle it over, take all the edges off, and knock the highs into the lows and whatnot. But it's pretty dang good for what it was. That was a huge low spot there and a high spot next to it. So I shaved it down, filled it in, leveled that up, and this was another huge mound here with a low spot beside it. So we got a bunch of this kind of leveled up, and the sun's going down, so I don't know how much of it you'll be able to see, but the river's all windy back there. So If I can buy this piece of property someday, I'll thin this out. I'll take out some of the saplings and stuff like that, so you can see. I'll leave all the big trees. Like I may take down the obvious dead ones. Like that's a dead one. This one here is a dead one, and whatnot like that. This one's on my property, so this one will be taken care of soon. But I think it would just be nice just to open that up a little bit. I don't want to clear cut it. I just want to make just a little more visual. I think that'll be nice. And then this is all boulders, big boulders up in here. So eventually I'll clear the tops of these so they're kind of like resting spots or whatever. But tell me that's not satisfying. There's the house way over there. But yeah, so leveled. No places for animals to hide on this side. Thorn bushes are next. Not today, obviously. And then all those thorn bushes. And then next spring, there's a lot of trash in there. That'll be a next spring project. I gotta get back on the house, but that is all styrofoam and whatnot. So still a lot more to come. And there's the doghouse that I forgot to throw in the dumpster before. And that one is just thrown back here because I can't put it out in my daily trash and I need a dumpster for all that. So I just staged that back there for now. But Mr. Ferguson put in a long day's work today, and I'm very thankful for him. I'll put a big round of applause for Mr. Ferguson. Yes, sir. He is definitely putting in the work today. And Chris and Sean, they were putting in work today too. But yeah, I'm sorry this is dragging out, but this is satisfying. I don't know if I got a clear picture from up here where we started. But yeah, this was one of the stop where I started the video, I think, somewhere right around here. But that is way better than a couple of days ago. And no more blown lines on Mr. Ferguson. He did good today. And only one tick on me so far, but I haven't taken my clothes off. So probably find more. Oh boy. Well, thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome. I hope this is remotely as satisfying for you to watch as it was for me to do. This is hugely satisfying for me. As satisfying as, you know, you guys' comments and just the watches and stuff like that. It's you guys are a big part of this too, driving me. So keep it coming. I'll keep it coming for you guys. Thank you very much. You guys have a good day. All right, so let's talk about turning a negative into a positive. I was clearing a lot of my property today and leveling it, working. This is mounds here and everything. But turning a negative into a positive, I wanted this all leveled. There's been a couple of rocks that I haven't got, boulders I have not been able to get out. I dug and buried a couple of big ones, but a couple of them won't even budge. There's one right in the middle of the yard. But it just happens to be absolutely perfect. It's the perfect rock. How can it be a perfect rock, you might ask? There you go. Does it get any more perfect than that? I'm a guy. You know, we all had BMX bikes, jumping stuff. We had a mini bike like this for like a day when we were a kid in the Moto Blue. We never had another one. But how perfect is that? I mean, it's smack dab in the middle of the yard. But yeah, that was a negative at first. There was a huge mound of dirt there, massive, and that's what I spread around everywhere. And as I dug it down, I found the rock, and I started digging at the rock, and I was like, this thing's too big to move, come on, and went through all the emotions. And then as I dug more of it, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that thing's aiming up perfect. Here we are. Negative to a positive. Every time you can, do it. It helps.